We cannot ignore that the market is looking super bullish at the moment. Bitcoin is ripping. Altcoins are going nicely with Bitcoin, but there are some major alarm bells that are wrinkling. And in this video, I would like to just be super transparent with you guys about what I just did and what I'm going to do if this plays out how I think it could play out, and the coins that I will be buying, because bull markets are known for washing people out. There will be a washout at some point. You don't want to be the washed out, so watch out. Welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and let's get right into it. So this is the altcoin market, except the top 10. Right, the top 10 itself looks a little bit better. If you include that as well, then you get a total 3, and that's already above the March high, which if you exclude the top 10, it is not. And that's just simply because XRP finally started moving again. Cardano finally started moving again. Doge did something, right? These high caps have, of course, a major impact on the chart because they have such a high market capitalization. Now, money rotates in crypto, right? Bitcoin, high caps, small caps. So, of course, at a certain point, people will take their money out of these high caps and put it into low caps. Therefore, I do not think that this is the best time actually to chase the whatever XRP pump or whatsoever. But I do think that we need to be prepared for what's coming next. You don't want to be looking where people already are. You want to be looking where people might go next, and you want to be there before people get there, right? Therefore, I have a small meme bag, like I said, but it's not where most of my money is allocated, because that's where people already are. Of course, you cannot ignore the action. Therefore, I'm playing that game a little bit, but I'm putting it into the niches that people say that are dead, because every time something was dead, it was the best buying opportunity. I think that if you went through crypto before at least one cycle, then you know that. And then there is a very easy way for you to take advantage of that. So that's what I want to look at. But the alarm bells, bro. The alarm bells are flashing, and they're flashing hard. Now, I know, yesterday I dropped a video. I'm buying in the title, and I am. But on some of the projects that I did hold, I took some profits because there's also something in this crypto market that we should watch out for. And I discussed it a little bit, but I didn't give it enough attention. I think this could be pretty big, actually. I don't want to make this useless and save it for the end so I can get more watch time. Let's get right into that. USDT dominance. This is important stuff. The USDT dominance is showing how much percent of the total crypto market is sitting in USDT. Currently, that's 4%, 4.2%. What you'll notice, of course, is this trend line right here, right? And people deployed USDT during the pump, right? They were a little late, but that's what people do, I guess. Now we are sitting at this trend line. At a certain point, maybe today, maybe in a year, maybe in 10 years, this trend line will break, because this goes up. Eventually, it will hit 100%, and that can't happen, of course. So we will break this. It could be that, again, now is the move that breaks it. You have to realize that it could also not be, right? Sometimes people look at this and they just trade it because they want it to go a certain direction, right? A lot of people might look at this and be like, yeah, it's going to break right now. Not because they sincerely think it will break, but more that they hope it will break because they can't stand a correction. I do want to mention that if we don't break it and we go up again, that's not just a correction. Based on what happened before, that's a crash / washout, right? A correction is 10, 20%. It's going to be more than that. Okay, and I do really feel like I need to show you that right now. This trend line has been accurate for 7 years. So it's not something that we can ignore and say like, well, for some reason this time it's not going to happen, right? What happened before? You need to consider this. If you do not consider this, then you are a real irresponsible investor. Because if it bounces right here, you will look at this in hindsight and be like, why did I not do something with this? It was so obvious. You don't want to be there. If you are now in the market fully allocated with all your money in crypto and not in cash, I don't think it's wise, even right now. But let's get back to this in a second, right? And show you the danger that could potentially be coming. If we look at Bitcoin in a bull market, and let's take the 2017 bull market. Overall, it was super parabolic. But what you also notice is that when we had crashes, it wasn't just a crash. 40%, right? This lasted for 2 weeks, yet it was 35%. Here, another one, 32%. Here we had a washout, 40%. Right? I think that this one was pretty similar, 40%. This one was absolutely ridiculous. It was 83%, right? And that was, well, there was a bear market. Okay, there was not that kind of correction. But you'll see that Bitcoin corrects super hard. What do you notice in the altcoin market when that happens? It's not that altcoins are getting spared or anything. The first, somewhat recognizable correction for the altcoin market was 62%. And I don't want to scare you with this though. It's not that your portfolio with altcoins then goes down 62%. No, this is the top 125. If you hold coins outside of that, they correct harder. Your portfolio could easily go down 80, 90% during such a move, right? If we see this correction right here, 51%. We had another one right here, 63%. Happens quite a lot, actually. Now, when did these corrections happen? If you again look at the USDT dominance, what do you notice? I marked off every time close or at the bottom for the USDT dominance. If you overlay the altcoin market on this, you can see what happened during the altcoin market. This was basically the peak, the mid-cycle peak that we just had, where people were already screaming that they were 80% down on their portfolio. Right? The altcoin market went from 350 billion to 180, half, give or take. Right? Like I said, some coins go down way harder. This one here was at the top of the bull market. So that was not just a correction or anything. That was the beginning of the bear market. It was terrible. Here, and it depends kind of way you draw it, because here we were also at the bottom, but as you can see, we here had the peak. That was that double top for the 2021 bull market. That was the first stop where we went from 340 billion to 150 or anything, right? That was bigger than this one. People were down 80%. Here, we were also at the bottom. Altcoin market went from 20 billion to 10 billion. Here, this one, we were also at the bottom. And what was this? Was basically the start of the 2018 bear market. Look, again, it's not that I'm now making this video saying that we are going into a bear market. That's not likely. It's also another video where I tried to say, like, guys, get out in the market. After I yesterday made a video where I said I was buying. Definitely not. But it is, I think, responsible to look at this chart and consider the fact that this time might not be any different from the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that this happened. If it is not any different, then we will see a correction of at least 50%, right? Or somewhat close to that, maybe at least. Then why all my alt season talk? Because this could happen during alt season. I said alt season is where altcoins outperform Bitcoin. It could be that the USDT dominance bounces here and that Bitcoin goes down, but that altcoins go down less hard, so that the dominance for Bitcoin still goes down as well. And the others, Bitcoin goes up. That's alt season. In the meantime, altcoins are getting wrecked on the dollar pair. That's a possibility, right? Again, this chart here, these are altcoins on their Bitcoin pair. This is the alt season chart, right? Here we had alt season and here we had alt season. And now we are here again. So it's logical that we might expect an alt season soon. If you overlay altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, then you'll notice that these charts are not really the same, right? You can have periods where this chart goes up, where altcoins on the Bitcoin pair like here go up, but that altcoins on the dollar pair have a huge crash, like this. It might be that something like that is going to happen. However, these crashes, they will correct to the upside once again, because we are in a bull market. We are not in a bear market or even close to a bear market. So this is actually if this happens, that's the best opportunity. Because crashes in a bear market, yeah, you don't know what's going to survive. You don't know how long it lasts. You don't know how low it goes. In a bull market, it is a lot more likely that after that crash, you recover very hard as well. So if you see this happen, take it as an opportunity. I think this is super important to realize. Again, if it is guaranteed to happen, of course not. Nothing is guaranteed, right? This time could be different. It could all be different. Unfortunately, so far, crypto is not really showing that it is any different. And therefore, we should consider as well that the moves to the downside are not any different. Again, if we look at all others on their Bitcoin pair, so alt season, this looks like it's sitting at some big support right here. But if you look at others just on the dollar pair altcoins, it also kind of makes sense, right? Like we had a pretty good move right here. Is it that unlikely that we correct and retest? Right? We had this point right here where we had, support, 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 resistance, support, a lot of resistance, and we broke out like it was nothing. Usually that comes with a retest, right? So it could be that the altcoin market goes back down here, retests, happens to be also where the bull market support band is sitting right now. That would scare the shit out of a lot of people if this happens. While in reality, hey, we broke out of a big resistance level, support level. We never retested. The bull market support band is there. USDT is sitting at the trend line at the exact lows. Bitcoin is pretty overheated at the moment after making such a parabolic move. It is not that weird to think that we are going to get a flush out. Again, it's not me predicting like that in a couple of weeks you will don't have to have comments like, you predicted a flush out, right? Like, no, maybe not. But it is responsible to consider that this is a very likely possibility. Therefore, I took some profits. I think that this is the way to prepare for it, actually. Right? If you are just in a DCA strategy, then fine. Prices will be higher in a year from now than where we are right now. However, I think it's wise that at least what I am doing is I took some profits out of the market. Not a whole lot, but I think maybe 10% so far, right? Maybe you should do a little more even. If you are in the private Discord, there's a link down below to the Alpha Factory, then you know exactly what I'm buying and selling. So then you already know. But just in general, I took some profits out of the market. And how I did that is by thinking like, hey, if I'm wrong, right? If the market doesn't correct and it just goes up from here, do I still have enough exposure to crypto? I want to keep that answer yes at all times in the coming year, right? That's just wise to do, because the last thing you want to do is go through a whole bear market and then finally when there's a bull market, you miss out on it, right? That's stupid. But I also want to be prepared for the other side. I also look at it and be like, if there will be a big correction, then again, this USDT dominance chart, I will look at this and be like, yeah, of course, in hindsight, I could have seen this coming. Why did I do something with this? This was so obvious, right? I want to have a certain amount of cash that I feel like, okay, this is what I now can deploy in the market. And that makes me feel comfortable with that crash. But first, before that crash, if that crash happens, you want to have confidence in this market. You want to look at the market and be like, yeah, doesn't matter. Not going to panic, not going to panic sell, not going to revenge trade, not going to do stupid things, because I just know that the market is going up from here. Watch my video from yesterday. If you want to be bullish, watch that video. That's the longer time frame for between now and a year from now. Right? Then it will be fine. I'm not going to explain here in this video why I am long-term super bullish and short-term, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my life. That video is for that. In this video, I just want to make sure that you are at least bullish on the market. So watch that video. But now I also want to show you, like, guys, the euphoria is there, right? And it's not just that. It's not just that. If you look at, do I have it there? Yeah. If you look at this, we have the fear and greed index. Let me see where that index is. Oh, let me get it. It's, again, the Bitcoin run-up went super parabolic. Altcoins, they broke out without retesting. The USDT dominance is sitting at an historical trend line, which always so far caused a huge crash. And the fear and greed is currently sitting at 83, right? 83. That's quite high, right? If you delete everything and you just keep the high levels, yo, what's up, man? Come in. If you delete everything and you just keep the high levels, you can see that we are like here, like the highest that we have been since basically March. What happened there? We didn't do so well since then, especially for altcoins, right? If you combine all these things, then you should be a little more about the charts instead of the sentiment, and be like, okay, everybody is euphoric right now, everybody is happy right now, everybody is screaming that they're making money right now, the charts are going through the roof, the RSI is high. Fuck, maybe it's gonna crack, right? That's something that you always should consider. So I think it's wise to have a bag of stables, actually. And if that means that you should take some profits right now, bro, if you do not have profits at this moment, then you did something wrong, right? Like, the altcoin market wasn't higher in this cycle for a long period, only here, right? The rest, it was always lower. So you should be in profits. If you are for some reason not in profits, then you maybe should change your whole approach in the first place, right? And what I'm doing, I will, if this happens, right, then I will, of course, spam you on YouTube every day with when to buy and etc. But it is good to already be prepared and to have a buy list, because you cannot let it happen and then once it's time to buy, feel like, oh, I don't know what, right? Like, if you look at the lows after this correction, this was here, this was a wick. This happened very fast and you did not have time to think, really, right? It was even a wick on a daily, so I don't know exactly, but it lasts maybe for an hour or so. Yeah, you have to be awake. You have to, like, you want to be prepared. So make your buy list already. And I do think that I can give you all the coins, but I think you can just base your buy list on what has already been performing well in this market so far. If you, for example, look at a Focal Forge or anything, right? Love the project, but the price chart, it completely sucks, right? So, of course, why should you buy something like this when Bitcoin is sitting at all-time highs and this thing hasn't even moved yet, right? Because if Bitcoin does go to the downside and it goes up again, then obviously this thing is not going with it. So you want to look at the projects that are now already strong and wait for those to have a discount. Like Avalanche, for example, sitting at $35, great. You know, if we can maybe buy it at 20, again, it's not that I'm saying that it will get there, but hey, if we get that opportunity, that's great, right? If you want to buy a beam, yeah, it's now 2.5 cents. Maybe we can buy it back somewhere at 2, maybe lower, right? That's a great opportunity. Render has now been outperforming, broke out. Maybe it will retest that 6.50, maybe even lower, $6 level. A lot of people, they love to buy Solana right now. Yeah, it's kind of in price discovery. Maybe it'll go back to around $200 to 210. And so it's for you to kind of study the chart. Well, not even study, just look at the altcoins, right? That have been performing well and wait for a crash, because crashes happen in bull markets. There are now multiple charts showing that things are really overheated. And yeah, look, I'm not calling it for it to happen like today or anything, or maybe even this week. Maybe it happens in 3 weeks. Could also be the case, right? And it's kind of hard to now take your profits and to see that the market is going up from there. And then you feel like, oh, fuck it, crash didn't happen, let me buy back. And then the crash happens, right? So I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying consider that this is a super realistic scenario. And that if you feel like, yes, this could indeed happen, think about what I just said. And if you want to approach it like that, then also stick to your plan. So only sell the coins that you feel like, man, if the bull market does continue, I'm still good, right? I still have a good bag. I don't really need these others. Of course, the more you are exposed in the bull market, the more money you will make. But yeah, that's also a matter of risk reward. And it's up to you if you want to take that. If you look at the total crypto market, it also kind of lines up because it potentially is forming a double top, right? We are a little higher, but they're never completely perfect. But also that is confirming actually like, hey, things are really toppy at the moment. And not like peak bull market toppy, but kind of mid-cycle run-up toppy that we see 6 times in a year. And I wouldn't say trade every crash in a bull market, because eventually you're going to make the wrong trade. But I, again, do think it's wise to be prepared for the fact that you can get washed out. And a lot of people, they will say it's over then if that happens. They will say memes are dead, and like they're saying that utility is dead right now, and that Bitcoin is topped out, and that et cetera, et cetera. Sentiment can change very quickly, right? First, it was that stupid 5.3 theory where Bitcoin should top out at around 80K or so. Now we're at 90. That's off the table. Now people are all of a sudden screaming for 150. You will see that within the first crash, people will say that the top is in. That's the sentiment, and I think it's best to ignore that. And yeah, to simply look at the numbers and the statistics. That never really hurt somebody, actually, if you compare it to sentiment and news. Nevertheless, like I said, wait, I'm getting a call. I'm getting liquidated. No, just kidding. Nevertheless, I do still think that alt season is happening, because again, alt season has nothing to do with altcoins on the dollar pair. It's just if altcoins outperform Bitcoin. Yeah, if Bitcoin drops 10% and altcoins drop 3%, hey, could consider that as an alt season, right? That's just simply what it is. For now, that is looking really bullish. That is really looking bullish. However, the big fight is now kind of going on, because also the little off topic, but it's kind of what stands out to me right now. Altcoins are now sitting at that major trend line on their Bitcoin pair, right? So this is going back to 2017, has been accurate all that time, unwise to ignore. However, the bull market support band is also something that's been very accurate. And now that trend line and the bull market support band are kind of looking to cross in the, between now and end of the year, maybe beginning next year, right? Bull market support band going down and that support line is going up. Either one of those has to break, and both of them could mean something very big and it depends on which direction it's going to be, of course. So interesting. Just make sure that you are prepared. I think it's important. I don't know, man. I just sold some crypto and I feel pretty good with it. Like I said, it's important to make sure that you have enough crypto left in case everything goes up anyway. Otherwise, in a bull market, you also can get wrecked, right? Like where you see it go up and you sold, but you feel like, oh shit, so you buy it high and then a crash happens and then you get washed out. Like, you completely fuck that up. Been there, done that, don't want to do that. That's not nice. You have to wait another 4 years to hopefully do it better. So make sure that you at least have enough still in your portfolio. Now, the things that I will be buying, for example, took some profits on Altora. That run up was a little too hard for me. I will buy that back. I took some profits on Beam. I will buy that back, right? I took some profits on AVAX, kind of still at the same level, so for now not that interesting. And I took some profits on Render, but it was just a very little bit because Render is just still kind of running, and I want to see where this thing can take us. So that will be pretty interesting as well to see. But I think it's going to face some resistance at around this point, maybe 840, something like that. For now, I want to leave it here. I hope I scared enough people. No, I hope it didn't scare you. But again, we should not ignore what's on the charts. So thanks for watching. Take care. Interesting video tomorrow about if you want to not rely on other YouTubers and you want to look at the right charts yourself. Got a video dropping by then with the like kind of top 10 charts that helped me during this whole journey so far. So take care. Till tomorrow. Is that the right sentence? I don't know. See you then. Bye.